Let's do a little adjusting here. To start things off, maybe I'll get a little higher. Oh, can't get higher. Okay, that's fair. That's fine. Chair doesn't go higher. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. I do feel like this needs to be adjusted just a little. So, oh, sorry about that, Facebook. You guys got my hands like right up in the camera. You're so welcome. Ah ha ha ha! Facebook Live. Here we are. Live office hours. Monday morning. Live. I have my green juice. Doesn't that look disgusting? It has a disgusting texture as well. Yeah. I need a better blender. 100%. 100% need a better blender. Oh, hi, Felicia. Good morning. Good morning. Just vamping a little here, just till we get, hey, Joe. Just till we get a little, just give the socials a couple seconds to let people know that it's live now. Just a little couple seconds. I love how my window on Facebook, Instagram. I love how at my window on Facebook, it looks like it's nice outside, but it's not. It's not. I mean, it's warm, but it's also so humid. Vampa doodle. Yeah, it's also like so humid, which is why my hair's back, because it's also like there's no possibility to straighten my hair in this weather. And I also, anyway, we didn't need to talk about my hair. It's fine. Hey, Monday morning. Monday. Here we go. Let's do a little live. Let's talk. My name is Dr. Shannon Coates. My pronouns are she or they, whatever you like. And I wanted to get my land acknowledgement up and I forgot. So next time I go live, I'll have the land acknowledgement up too. I apologize for that. And I almost have it memorized, but there are 3 or 4 names that I have to read because they're long and they don't trip off of my tongue yet. So next time I'll get the land acknowledgement up there too. Okay, I'm coming at you live, woo, from north of Toronto, here in Canada, Ontario, Canada. Just do it the other way around. And I develop resources for voice teachers, specifically for independent voice teachers, who are kind of my fave, but for basically any voice teacher who would like to have these kinds of resources. So to that end, I do some practicums. So we're just entering the second week of the practicum around contemporary voice that I'm doing right now. So fun. That's good times. And then on Wednesday, I am doing a pop-up voice ped class, 90-minute class, 10 a.m. my time. So that's Eastern time, Toronto time, New York time, Holland Landing time, which is where I actually am, name of the town where I am. Yeah, that is going to be about adolescent/expanding voice. So we're talking about what happens in the voice as folks move through puberty. What are the specific changes that are happening, and specific changes also relative to like whether you're having a testosterone influenced puberty versus an estrogen influenced puberty. So I mean, there are more hormones involved in that, but those are like big ones. So we'll say like those 2 kinds, and specifically what are the things to look for and also to expect in the voice, and working with that voice. So that's and I will do a follow-up practicum on working with child and expanding voice. I can't remember now when that is. When is that? Oh, in August. In August. So stay tuned. That's in August. My calendar's over there. Can you see my calendar? Yeah. Oh, Instagram, you can't see my calendar, but Facebook can. See my calendar? It's right there. So that's in August. So if you are not on my mailing list and you want to have the information, rather than like having to tune in live and figure out what's happening every day, every week, get on the mailing list because that's a good way. That's a good way. Hey, so what are we talking about today? 5 minutes in, so this is a good time to actually talk about what we're talking about today. Monday, we are talking about, what are we talking about? I did a reel, and I did an actual reel like myself, so I have a social media manager. Wait, is that what her title is now? I can't remember what her title is, but it's something like that. And so she'll take like live content that I've made, like videos that I've made, and she'll make reels out of those for me, which is amazing, like amazing. But I made an actual reel, my very own self, last week. Boop, boop, boop. Live, I did it myself. It wasn't taken from previous, stuff that I had recorded, right? So, and in that reel, I talked about the fact, well, the reel is like, you can't tell a muscle what to do. You can only give it something to do, right? So that's the like little nugget. That's the nugget in the reel. And then I wanted to expand on that a little bit today. And I've talked about this in other kinds of ways. We've talked about this in terms of like learning and teaching and that kind of thing. We've talked about this kind of the idea of how we learn and how our muscles work and motor learning, blah, 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 all that stuff. We've talked about that in other ways, but I wanted to just kind of narrow in on this idea that you can't tell a muscle what to do. So I can't say to my lips, for example, okay, those muscles are going to do muscle engage, this muscle engage, this muscle engage. Like I can't say that to lips is a bad example because I'm not like, I don't actually really remember what the names of the muscles are in the lips. So there are people out there who like know all the names and I don't know all the names. I know where to find the names and that's good enough for me. Thank you very much. So say, now I can't remember any muscles except the ones in the larynx. Okay, well, let's use the ones in the larynx. So let's say thyroarytenoid muscle. So that's the muscle that's actually within the vocal folds. So the vocal folds have like the innermost layer of the vocal folds is a muscle, is muscle tissue, and it's called the thyroarytenoid or TA. So you can't say TA, engage now. TA, engage now. Go. We don't tell muscles what to do. We give them something to do. So if I want my TA to engage, if I want that thyroarytenoid muscle to engage, then I have to start talking, right? So I'm talking right now, so my TA muscle is engaged. And TA muscle is engaged when we're speaking in the lower register, when we're speaking or when we're singing in lower register, right? So that's how I make that muscle engage. If only I could remember the name of any other muscle. Any other muscle. Pectoralis. I don't really know what the pectoralis does. I know it's the pecs. Gosh, Shannon, prepare. Prepare! Preparation would be a good thing. Whatever this muscle is, right? What's this muscle here? That thing. Whatever that thing is. Oh, zygomatic is one. Yes! Same thing, right? Zygomatic muscle. You can't just say, oh, sternocleidomastoid. Yes, thank you. I love if you just like throwing in muscle names now. Yes, I remember biceps. Yes. Okay, I'm going to go biceps first. Thank you, friends. So this guy, I can't say bicep, engage. Bicep, engage. Like do it now. I have to give it something to do. I have to actually move my arm in order for the bicep to engage, right? Like I have to actually do this in order for it to engage. Sternocleidomastoid. So sternocleidomastoid, engage, do it, go, do the thing. No, I have to like turn my head in order for it to engage, right? I have to actually give it something to do. Okay. I think everybody's on the same page now, right? We're all on the same page. So when we're teaching, so often we're tempted. So often we're tempted to say specifically, okay, do this specific thing. When it's going to be so much more effective, and we're going to find so much more coordination in the process if we give, not only do we give the muscle something to do, but we also give it something, we give the brain something to consider. So an idea around the doing thing. So we often say, release the jaw, release the jaw, release the jaw in singing. I shouldn't say we often say that. Sometimes we do that, right? We want the jaw to be released, right? So we often say, release the jaw, release the jaw. Okay, I'm releasing the jaw, but I keep having to tell myself, okay, release the jaw, release the jaw. And when I'm releasing the jaw, I'm actually engaging some muscles underneath that are when they engage, they pull the jaw back, right? So I can't remember what those muscles are. Actually I can, but whatever, it's fine. So we've got these muscles down here that when we release the jaw, they engage and they go, huh, huh, and they pull the jaw back, right? So release the jaw. So that's giving the muscles something to do, sort of, right? Like that's farther along than saying, okay, engage blah, 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 in order to open the mouth. But what's an even better way to give those muscles something to do? Give the brain an idea. Give the brain something fun to think about. So an even better way of release the jaw might be, how short can the chin to the neck be? Oh, I just shortened the space. Shorten the space between the chin and the neck. Ooh, that's kind of fun. That's kind of an interesting one. Okay, yeah. Oh yeah, I shortened that space. Or what about, like, if I'm talking about releasing the jaw, maybe a little bit more space in the back, what about something like the corners of the jaw? This is one of my favorites. The corners of the jaw are in love with the collarbone. Oh, so as soon as you say that, as soon as you give your brain something to consider or an idea or kind of a fun concept, the sun actually is out now, by the way, for those of you who are joining. Anyway, we give the corners of the jaw, and if you're trying that at home now, think about the difference between release the jaw or create more space in the back or have a yawning feeling. Yawning feeling might work as well, but consider the difference between that directive and the directive 2, where the corners of the jaw are in love with the collarbones. Oh, as soon as I think the corners of the jaw, and they're just trying to get down there to kiss, the collarbones, right? Oh, just trying. Oh, as soon as I think that, not only do I lengthen the back of my neck, but also I get this like corresponding release in the jaw. So, and yoga folks are really good at doing these kinds of directives. Like, they're really good at doing these kinds of directives. I learned so much from great yoga teachers. When they talk about heart forward, as soon as I think, rather than engage the back muscles and put the shoulders back and stand up tall or straight or whatever, and don't collapse, as soon as all of those directives are things I have to continue to do, and they don't give my brain anything really interesting to think about, right? So like my muscles, is it going to be effective? Maybe in the moment. But long term, what might be really effective? Heart forward. I feel the heart, bring the heart through the ribs or whatever, right? Like heart forward. Shine the heart forward. Those kinds of directives, right? So yoga folks are really good at kind of finding those directives that get you to where the muscles are doing the thing, and the brain is engaged in this kind of narrative, in sort of allowing something to happen and creating a scenario, if you will. So we get this like double engagement, and then the brain loves that. We love this kind of learning. We love the learning where shoulders back. It can work, sure. I mean, we're also like running the risk of like locking in the back too, right? Of course, which we are running the risk in this example of maybe locking in the back if I'm thinking shoulders, if I'm thinking of shine the heart forward. I may be running some risk there, but shine the heart forward, how opening is that rather than shoulders back, which is closing in the back, right? So, or which for me anyway. So my thought for you for this week, or my thought for us this week, is to think about, to consider every time we're giving a directive, stand up straight for one. What about like stretching? What about stretching up? What about top of the head is opening to the sky? Like, I don't know. Come up with all the things, right? The top of the head is reaching for the sun. I don't know. What about giving those muscles something to do that is fun and exciting, and the brain connected to it, rather than our kind of tried and true or kind of old, not old, standard, let's say standard, our standard directives that we use that can be useful, absolutely. But what are some ways that you can kind of have more fun with those directives while giving a fun narrative for the brain? What are some ways you can do that? Another one that I heard from Sarah Whitten, which I absolutely love, which reminds me, I'll do a little shout out to Sarah as well on there. So another one that I loved is for grounding. So rather than saying, you know who else, sorry, squirrel, you know who else is really great at these kinds of directives? Alexander Technique folks. So if you get a chance to work with someone, especially someone who's a voice specialist with Alexander Technique, you might also find some really beautiful directives that allow the muscles to do the thing. Oh, touch the skin of the earth with the skin of your feet. Oh, I love that. I love that for grounding. Oh, yeah. And you can feel softness in the ankles, yeah, love. I love that. And so one of the things that Sarah Whitten talked about once that I absolutely loved and I use all the time as well is imagine you're a dinosaur and imagine you have that big, huge tail going down to the floor. So now I've got that big, huge tail going down to the floor. So I'm supported. Like I can just imagine it now. And how does that change how your body works? Right? So rather than saying, okay, get grounded, bend the knees a little bit, bend the ankles a little bit, put your feet out flat on the floor, like sink into the floor a little bit. I mean, those can all work. It can all be useful. But what's even more, like what grabs the imagination and the brain and makes the learning so much more exciting? Imagine you're a dinosaur and you have that big long tail that is now helping you to ground into the earth. So now feel that feeling of grounding. Ooh, it's very exciting and very fun. And we all know too that as the more fun we're having when we're learning, the deeper the learning is going to be, the better the learning is. So how can you make your directives this week not only better for the muscles, like how can you give the muscles something to do? Oh, here's the other thing too. Oh, how can you give the muscles something to do? And how can you make it how can you make it more of a story? Like how can it be more exciting for the brain to engage? Here's the other thing. Whenever we have the urge to say, don't do something. So whenever we have a don't happening in our brain where we're saying, okay, don't clench the jaw. We'll come back to that one. Don't clench the jaw. Don't slouch. Don't have a loud inhalation. Don't, I don't know, whatever it is that we're thinking about in terms of our directives that we're using. As soon as you have the urge to say a don't, see what you actually do want, right? So this comes back to the don't clench the jaw, for example. What do I actually want here? I actually want the muscles to, I'm going to get there in just a second. I actually want the muscles to release, and I want a different set of muscles to engage, right? So I want the muscles that open the jaw to engage, and I want the muscles that are closing the jaw to disengage. So I want those to release. So you can say release the jaw, sure. Or, like I said, you could say the corners of the jaw are in love with the collarbone. So you can take it that step from don't to do, and then you can take it that one step further into something creative and exciting and fun for the brain. Dan says, this is beautiful. Also activates the creative imagination with lyric imagery and storytelling. Yes, 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 exactly. Incorporates actual body technique into communication. Yes. So it gets you so engaged. Oh, with your toddlers. Yes, exactly. Try it with toddlers too. 100%. I'll tell you, actually, saying that, or that reminds me that I first started to change my language in the voice studio in this way in my directives when my kids were toddlers, when my kids were really little, because I read somewhere about parenting that speaking to children, you want to, the brain doesn't work well with a don't directive, right? And if we want, so rather than saying don't touch that, try saying hands away from that, or hands, like give them something to do, not something not to do, right? So rather than saying don't fight, well, maybe don't fight is the wrong one. But rather than saying, don't do the thing, give them the thing to do. So I used to say, come away from there, or move back from there, or walk away from there, or come toward me, please, or blah, blah, blah. So the language is giving them something to do rather than don't touch that, right? Come away from there, right? Yeah, Dan. So that's where this started. And my kids are 18 and 16 now. So so that's where this whole idea around the language and directives that I'm using in the voice studio started to kind of come into the voice studio, was when I came from parenting. Yeah. Give them something to do. And like I said, if you're able to take that one step farther from the something to do into the something creative, something that has a little spark of excitement and fun in it, so that the brain enjoys it a little bit more. And then the brain will remember that so much. We remember that sensation, we remember the directive, but we remember the sensation so much more clearly and deeply. The learning is deeper. So the learning around the corners of the jaw are in love with the collarbone, the learning around that sensation is much deeper than relax the jaw. It's a much deeper learning. Because we've got this imagery to go with it. We've got this beautiful connection with the mind and the body. So, something to think about this week and have fun with. And let me know if you come up with some really beautiful directives. I would love to hear them, 100%. So, if you come up with some, throw them my way, because I will use them too. We can all learn. And I can steal in the best possible way. All right, friends, have a terrific week. Terrific week. My R's got a little funky there. Yes. Oh, beautiful. Thanks, Victor. I'm glad. Yeah, terrific. All right, have a great week. Happy Monday. Oh. Helen says, I heard a fun example when I worked in a nursery. You never read a grocery list with the groceries you're not going to buy. Oh my gosh, so true. That is so true. This isn't getting on Instagram, this is on Facebook, but yes, you never write down the things you're not going to buy. It's so true. I love it. Yes, thank you.